Discover your secret weapon for younger-looking skin from Medicate, a clinically proven British skincare brand known for age-defying results. Collagen is key to visibly firmer, smoother, and younger-looking skin. As we age, our bodies naturally produce less collagen, and the existing collagen we do have breaks down. Here's where Medicate's new Advanced Pro Collagen Plus Peptide Cream comes in. Formulated with advanced actives that help stimulate the skin's natural collagen production, Medicate's Advanced Pro Collagen Plus Peptide Cream is an anti-wrinkle moisturizer clinically proven to visibly improve skin firmness, elasticity, and reduce the appearance of deep-set wrinkles. Visit Medicate.us, that's MEDIK and the number 8.US to discover more. Use code PODCAST20 to save 20% off your order.
Welcome to LitReading. I'm Don McDonald. Our next story isn't a classic. It's something new, part of what I'm calling my Neo-Lit series. Original stories created just for LitReading by me. This one is titled A Chance of Death. It begins with a couple trying to reconnect at a quiet mountain getaway, just as a storm settles over the Blue Ridge Mountains. As the rain keeps falling, the rising river outside their cabin mirrors the tension rising inside. And now, here's A Chance of Death by me. Day 1, Monday, September 23rd. I follow the Weather Channel with the same intensity other women watch soap operas. On the screen, Jim Cantori traces the atmospheric river with his finger, explaining how the moisture will collide with the Blue Ridge Mountains. Behind him, satellite imagery shows bands of green and yellow stretching from the Gulf of Mexico all the way to western North Carolina. Unprecedented rainfall totals are possible, he says. Some mountain areas could see up to 8 to 12 inches over the next few days. I grasp the gravity of that statement. My meteorologist father taught me to read the signs long before I understood what they meant for people living in the valleys below. Steep-sided rivers like the Shenandoah don't handle large amounts of rain well. They can quickly turn deadly. Sarah, turn that crap off. David's voice carries its familiar edge of irritation as he walks into the living room, beer in hand. It's just rain. Just rain. Everything is just something with David. My bruised ribs from last week were just a misunderstanding. The financial controls he's placed on every account are just being responsible. The way he monitors my phone, my emails, my every moment, that's just caring. But I remember, dimly, when he wasn't only this man, when his smile could light a room, when his confidence drew me in. Sometimes, in public, when he charms a waitress or laughs too loudly at a colleague's jokes, I still catch glimpses of that other David, and I hate him more for it. I mute the television, but don't change the channel. On screen, a red blob pulses in the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane Helene, still organizing but already massive. I've been tracking it for 3 days, watching the models converge on a terrifying possibility that could be my salvation. I was thinking, I say carefully, the way I've learned to present ideas to David without triggering his anger. Maybe we could take a long weekend trip, just the two of us. He looks up from his phone, suspicious. A trip? Where? The mountains? Asheville area? There are some beautiful cabins along the river. I keep my voice light, wifely. We haven't had any quality time together in so long. David's face softened slightly. He likes the idea of me being grateful for his attention. When? This week. I found this adorable place on the Shenandoah River. Very romantic. Very private. The word private does what I knew it would. David's eyes brighten with possibility. Yeah, how much? Don't worry about that. I want to do something special for us. What I don't tell him is that I've been slowly skimming cash from the grocery money for months, hiding it in the freezer in the garage. Emergency money. Escape money. But this is a better use. Okay, book it, he says, already losing interest as his phone buzzes with another notification. I unmute the Weather Channel. The hurricane is strengthened. Day 2, September 24th. The rain starts before dawn, just as the models predicted. I stand at our kitchen window watching the steady drizzle darken the driveway and feel a familiar thrill. Not excitement, exactly. More like the satisfaction of a chess player watching their opponent move exactly as anticipated. My laptop displays multiple weather websites: Weather Underground, the National Weather Service, the NOAA Flood Prediction Center. Daddy would be proud of how well I've learned to read the data. Soil saturation levels across the North Carolina mountains are already elevated from recent rains. The Swannanoa and French Broad watersheds are primed. You're up early. David appears in the doorway, already dressed for work. His hair neatly combed, his shirt crisp. To anyone else, he looks like a solid husband heading into another productive day. Couldn't sleep. I was so excited about our trip. I closed the laptop casually. I booked that cabin I told you about. River's Edge, Cabin 7, right on the river. This weekend. He pours coffee, not really listening. We leave Wednesday evening. I thought we could drive up after you finish work, make it a long weekend. Wednesday? He frowns. I have the Hendricks meeting Thursday morning. My heart sinks. I've timed this so carefully. Can't you reschedule? The weather's supposed to be so interesting. Very atmospheric. Romantic storms. I make it sound like I'm some silly woman who finds thunderstorms exciting. He sighs. Yeah, I guess I could cancel it. God knows I've earned the time off. Relief floods through me. Perfect. I've already packed for both of us. He looks surprised. David likes to control the packing. Likes to check that I haven't brought anything he doesn't approve of. But the promise of a spontaneous getaway overrides his usual suspicion. For a moment, he even smiles, and I remember how it felt to be chosen by him. That memory stings me more than the bruises. The rain intensifies as David leaves for work. I spend the morning tracking Hurricane Helene's progress and researching the Swannanoa River's flood history. The 1916 flood reached 21 feet. In 2004, Hurricane Frances brought it to 18 feet. But the models I'm seeing suggest something much worse is possible. I pull up the satellite view of our cabin. River's Edge Cabin 7 sits maybe 30 feet from the normal water line, at an elevation that floods occasionally, but not catastrophically. Perfect for what I have planned. At 2 p.m., I drive to the outdoor store and buy a waterproof GPS beacon, the kind hikers use for emergencies. The clerk assumes it's for the mountain vacation I was discussing. Smart thinking, he says. Weather's supposed to get pretty rough up there this weekend. If he only knew how rough. Day 3, Wednesday, September 25th. By the time David comes home from work, the rain has been falling steadily for over 30 hours. Not heavy, but constant. The Charlotte News is already talking about rising streams and potential flooding in low-lying areas. Maybe we should postpone, David says, looking out at the gray afternoon. Driving in this isn't going to be fun. Oh, but I've been looking forward to it so much. I let disappointment creep into my voice. The cabin will be so cozy with the rain on the roof, like our honeymoon. Our honeymoon was a disaster. David spent most of it criticizing my choices and making me feel guilty for wanting to actually leave the hotel room. But he remembers it differently, through the selective lens of nostalgia. Fine, but if the roads get bad, we're turning around. We pack the car as the rain continues its steady drumming. I've prepared carefully. Extra batteries for the GPS beacon, sturdy raincoats for both of us, and emergency supplies hidden in my suitcase. David brings his laptop and a stack of files because he can never truly disconnect from work. The drive takes longer than usual. David grips the steering wheel tightly, cursing other drivers and the weather. I watch the roadside streams growing higher and more turbulent as we climb into the mountains. Jesus, he mutters as we pass a creek that's jumped its banks. This is insane. It's just a little flooding, I say, echoing his own dismissive words back to him. Mountain streams always fluctuate. When we finally reach the cabin, David's mood improves. River's Edge Cabin 7 is everything I promised. Charming, rustic, romantic. The Swannanoa rushes past the deck already high enough that I can see debris floating by in the security lights. It really is beautiful, David admits as we carry our bags inside. For once, his tone isn't critical. Good choice. I smile and kiss his cheek. I thought you'd like it. What he doesn't notice is how carefully I've chosen our location. The cabin sits in a bend of the river where the current runs fast and deep. Upstream, the channel narrows between steep rock walls. Downstream, it widens into a series of rapids that even experienced kayakers avoid in high water. Perfect for what I have in mind. Day 4, Thursday, September 26th. I wake before dawn to the sound of rain drumming harder on the metal roof. The steady drizzle of the past 3 days has intensified into something more urgent. Through the bedroom window, I can see the river has risen at least 2 feet overnight. David stirs beside me. What time is it? Early. The rain's gotten heavier. Damn it! He reaches for his phone. I forgot to cancel the Hendricks meeting. Even in the middle of this storm, his first thought is work. Meetings, reports, the endless climb. Once I admired his ambition. Now I see it as another cage. While he makes his phone calls, I step onto the deck to assess the situation. The water is moving faster now, carrying more debris. Branches, a cooler, what looks like part of someone's deck. The sound has changed from a gentle murmur to something more aggressive. But it's not enough yet. Not for what I need. I check my weather apps. Hurricane Helene is still strengthening in the Gulf. Right on track to push massive amounts of moisture into the southern Appalachians. The rainfall totals are being revised upward. Some areas could see a foot of rain in the next 24 hours. Holy crap, David says, joining me on the deck. Look at that water. It's amazing, isn't it? So powerful. I lean against the railing, playing the role of a woman awed by nature's spectacle. Want to walk down to the water's edge? I'd love to get some photos. David looks at the rushing current skeptically. Seems kind of dangerous. Just for a minute. I want to post something on Instagram. This appeals to David's vanity. He likes being seen as the adventurous husband, the man who takes his wife on exciting trips. And you know what? A walk in the rain could be so romantic. We should put on our raincoats and really experience this. I retrieve the raincoats from our luggage. While David isn't looking, I slip the GPS beacon into a zippered pocket in the coat. Insurance in case his body gets swept downstream and I need to help searchers find him later. Then I help him into the jacket like a caring wife. The heavy rain gear will weigh him down if he falls, making it harder for him to swim or stay afloat. But I present it as thoughtful preparation. There, I say, zipping up his jacket. Now we can really enjoy the storm. We leave the cabin and make our way down the muddy path toward what used to be the river's edge. The rain drums against our hoods as we pick our way carefully over the saturated ground. Tree roots that were once buried are now exposed by the erosion, creating treacherous footing that could send someone tumbling toward the water. Perfect. Be careful, I say, taking David's arm in what looks like wifely concern. It's so slippery. My God, David breathes, his voice barely audible over the roar. Look at all that junk floating by. I pull out my phone, pretending to frame shots while actually calculating angles and distances. This is incredible. David, can you get closer to the water? I want to show the scale. He takes a step toward the churning edge, and my heart pounds. The bank here drops off sharply. If he went in, The current would take him instantly. No one could survive that torrent. "Right there!" I call out, my voice bright with false excitement. "Just a little closer to the river so I can get you with the water behind you." David moves another step nearer to the rushing edge. The wet earth is like clay under our feet. All it would take is one good missed step. "Step back just a little," I say, raising my phone. "This will be so exciting." That was an understatement. But something in David's posture changes. His survival instincts, honed by years of controlling dangerous situations, suddenly kicks in. He looks down at the water swirling just feet behind him, then back at me with a calculating expression I know too well. "This is stupid," he says, stepping quickly back from the edge. "That current would kill you in about 2 seconds. What the hell are you thinking?" My moment passes. "I just wanted a dramatic shot," I say, trying to keep the disappointment out of my voice. "Get your dramatic shot from up there," he snaps, already heading back toward the cabin. "I'm not dying for your Instagram." If only he knew how right he was. We make our way back up the muddy bank and into the cabin. I fix us some lunch, a couple of turkey sandwiches on sourdough I bought in Hickory on the way up. After we eat, I clean up and look out the window. The water is rising up the deck stairs, having risen dramatically even in the short time we've been inside. The sound is mesmerizing. A deep, constant roar that vibrates through the wooden planks beneath our feet. We spend the rest of the day moving between the cabin and the deck, watching the storm rage. We hardly speak. Day 5, Friday, September 27th. The darkness outside lets me sleep in. Once my eyes open, I bolt from the bed in my sleep shorts and t-shirt, dying to know what the storm has done overnight. David has put on his raincoat and is standing on the covered deck looking at the water with awe and fear. I grab my coat and slip into it, joining him on the deck. "My God," he says, "look at that current. I think we need to get out of here before it gets any worse." "Isn't it incredible?" I breathe, moving closer to him. "So powerful. Can you imagine what it would be like to be caught in that?" We stand under the deck's roof overhang, protected from the driving rain, but close enough to feel the spray from the churning water below. The sloshing water has risen up to the lip of the deck. David stares at the river, fascinated by the raw power of nature. "Come closer," I say, my voice full of manufactured excitement as I move to the railing. "You can really see the debris from here." He takes another step toward the staircase, now just inches from where the water has swallowed the wooden stairs. This is it. My second chance. All I need is one good push when he's not expecting it. "Oh, David, look!" I cry out as if spotting something amazing in the water. I move toward him, then let my feet slide on the wet deck planking. I fall forward into him, my body slamming into his back as I catch myself on the railing. The impact sends him stumbling down the first 2 steps of the now submerged staircase. For a heart-stopping moment, I think he's going into the water. But at the last second, his hand catches the banister, water swirling around his knees. "What the hell is wrong with you?" he roars, hauling himself back onto the deck. His face purples with rage, veins standing out in his neck. "You stupid, clumsy bitch!" Before I can react, his hands are around my throat. His fingers dig into my windpipe with practiced precision. He knows exactly how much pressure to apply without leaving marks that last too long. "I should throw you into that goddamn river," he hisses, his face inches from mine. "You worthless piece of—" A sound like approaching thunder cuts him off. But it isn't thunder. It's constant, growing louder, coming from upstream. His eyes grow wide and his mouth gapes open. I turn to see something that defies comprehension. A wall of water at least 10 feet high, carrying entire trees like toothpicks. David's hands release my throat instantly. "Oh, God! Get inside!" We sprint for the cabin door as the wall of water bears down on us. David reaches it first and throws it open. I'm right behind him as the wave hits. The entire deck tears away from the cabin like paper. Windows implode. Water crashes through every opening, rising so fast I can barely process what's happening. In seconds, we're waist deep, then chest deep. The cabin is filling like a sinking ship. I swim toward the bedroom, remembering the attic access I saw in the closet. I fight through the churning water, furniture tumbling around me like deadly projectiles. I reach the closet just as the water hits the ceiling. The access panel is there, exactly where I remembered. I push it open and haul myself into the cramped attic space, gasping for air. Damn it! David's right behind me, dragging himself through the opening just as the cabin fills completely below us. The attic is musty and tight, barely tall enough to crouch. Through a small window, I see the water continue to climb against the outside walls. "How high can it get?" David asks, panting. "It'll stop," I say, but my voice lacks conviction. We huddle in the narrowing space, listening to the water's relentless advance. The cabin groans like something alive and in pain. Through the ceiling below us, we hear furniture smash against the walls, dishes shatter, and the walls groan from the relentless battering. "Sarah," David says quietly, "if we don't make it out of this—" "Don't talk like that," I say, still performing the supportive wife. "We'll be fine." But I know we won't both be fine. That was never the plan. A tremendous crack splits the air. The whole cabin shudders, tilts, then slowly begins to move. We're floating. Through that little window, the world slides past. Trees. Other cabins. Dark and empty. A car tumbling end over end. A car tumbling end over end. The river has become something else entirely. A brown monster swallowing the familiar. "Oh, God," David breathes. "Oh, God." The cabin spins lazily in the current like a toy boat. Water seeps down through the roof and rises up from below. We float for what feels like hours, but might be minutes. The cabin groans and flexes, boards separating, walls beginning to buckle. When it comes apart, we'll be thrown into the churning hell below. Then, with a sound like the world breaking, we slam into something solid. The impact throws us both against the far wall. David's head strikes a beam. For a terrifying moment, I think he's out. He blinks, sputters, blood trickling down his scalp. "What did we hit?" he asks groggily. Through the window, I see it. We've crashed into a larger building. The old volunteer fire station downstream, I think. Our wreckage has wedged against its second story, but the cabin is breaking apart around us. Wood splitting, walls cracking. "We have to get out," David says. "This thing's falling apart." The attic hatch is underwater now, but part of the roof has been torn away by the impact. David kicks at the loose boards until he opens a gap big enough for us to crawl through. He boosts me first. I scramble from the crumbling cabin roof onto the solid surface of the fire station. The instant my feet hit, anchored, unmoving, I feel the difference in my bones. But as David starts to follow, the cabin lurches and peels away. The current catches the wreckage that served as our bridge and tears it apart beneath his feet, our cabin collapsing into the froth. He's still on what's left of the roof as it slowly begins its final juddering drift downstream. "Sarah!" he cries. The distance grows. 3 feet. 4. Soon too far to jump. David steps back and takes a running leap. He's short. His fingers snag the roof edge and his body slams into the bricks. He dangles above the torrent, the dying cabin spinning away behind him. "Help me!" His voice is raw. "I can't hold on." I drop to my knees at the roof's edge and start to instinctively reach down. He reluctantly releases one hand, just one, to stretch it toward mine, fingers splayed, shaking with the effort of holding his weight by one arm. All I have to do is grab his wrist, pull him to safety. Instead, I see our 15 years together in that single, merciless beat. Every accident that left me bruised. Every misunderstanding that sent me to the ER with a story about stairs. Every night I lay awake wondering if next time would be the time he went too far. The divorce papers I tried to file before he found them and broke 2 ribs. The women's shelter I called before he discovered the number and explained what would happen if I ever tried to leave. His eyes met mine in the rain and darkness. He understands. Sarah, please! I pull my hand back. His grip fails. He drops, and the river takes him. His cry slips short as he vanishes into the churn. I search the foam for any sign, but there's nothing. Just me. Alone on a roof in the middle of a catastrophe that explains everything. As the adrenaline wanes and my fear fades, I don't feel any guilt. Instead, I feel strangely calm, relieved, and for the first time in years, free. It was a risky idea, but in the end it worked. Just another tragic accident, like dozens of others happening all over the region. The GPS beacon in his pocket will make recovering his body easier after the flood subsides. I will be the traumatized widow who survived an unthinkable disaster. The one who tried to save her husband but couldn't reach him in time. Just another name on a list too long to fully investigate. In the distance, I hear helicopters. A Chance of Death is the first story of what I'm going to call Neolit, original stories created just for lit reading. I've had the urge to write fiction for most of my life, but, except in school, never really followed through. Recently, with the help of some very powerful AI tools, I finally decided to give it a try. Think of me as the composer and conductor. It was my idea. I shaped the story, directed the themes, and fine-tuned the resulting writing, while artificial intelligence was in essence my orchestra. Together, we turned a rough idea, hatched on a recent car trip to Asheville listening to Dateline podcasts, into something I could share with you here. I hope you've enjoyed this freshman effort. My head is full of other ideas I'd like to share, interspersed, of course, with the time-tested classic stories you've come to expect here. Please let me know what you think of this effort by dropping me a note at litreading.com. There, you'll also find an essay I wrote on AI collaboration in creative writing projects. Also, subscribe to my occasional email update newsletter. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hi, this is Kim and Penn Holderness from the Laugh Lines podcast. Boost Mobile offers the same nationwide coverage, network speed, and service consumers are used to, but at more affordable prices. Why pay more if you don't have to?
Boost Mobile offering reliable nationwide coverage backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Love your service or get your money back, no questions asked.
While other carriers blow millions on Super Bowl ads, we put that money to work for you, delivering reliable 99% nationwide coverage at affordable prices.
Start saving on wireless today with Boost Mobile's unlimited plans starting at just $25 a month.
The Boost Mobile network, together with their roaming partners, cover 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.
Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store or find us online at boostmobile.com.
Customers who cancel within 30 days of activation will have Boost service fees refunded. Activation fees, if applicable, and phone payments will not be refunded.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.